It is a sporty Sunday night. Welcome to GBS News Panorama Sports segment, The Score. My name is Florence Ndongo. Well, I know the African Cup of Nations is the talk of town, or may I say continent, and that is why today on our interactive segment, I have two special guests. On my left, I have Mr. Kevin Migongo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. And on my right, I have our senior sports reporter, Kevin Manuya. Karibu to the show.
Thank you.
The African Cup of Nations has been the talk for the last, I guess, 1 week. Kevin, how would you rate this year's tournament compared to last year?
Okay, definitely these are tight tournaments so far. Having, if you just saw the matches from the first day, Group A, that is South Africa, Angola, Cape Verde, and Morocco. You saw there were no goals, meaning that we had tight defense. Each and every team had come here to win this match, but there were no goals, and they all shared 1 point. So to me, it's just a tight competition.
Were you impressed? First day, you know, guys were like, you know, we have to sit here and watch African Cup of Nations, but first day, it was not so impressive. Were you impressed yourself?
I was surprised because you find that it is not a tournament of names anymore. Because you find that I expected South Africa to click against Cape Verde. Cape Verde is not a team by name. It's a team by players. So I thought that South Africa would beat Cape Verde by name. But it happened that they drew. So I have come to realize that in this match, this tournament, the 2013 AFCON, you will realize there's a very big difference to the fact that you find that I'm concluding this saying that these teams, the African football has developed. We have these players, young players are coming up. You will see Nigeria, it's not the Nigeria we know, the Nigeria of the Babangitas. These are new players. You will see Angola, leave alone Manucho, other players are so new. The Ghana is not the Ghana of the World Cup. There's no that sharpness. It is teams are acting on other teams' mistakes. If you make a mistake as my opponent, I seize that chance, then I score. So I feel it has not led to that billing that we African fans maybe expected.
Now, when you talk about fans, we are just being left to support other countries, and the closer we can come home is in Group C, where we find Ethiopia. You all know what happened to Kenya did to Uganda. They could not represent the region, but now we have Ethiopia. But when you look at Ethiopia, their first match, they drew 1-1. But on Friday, they were beaten by Burkina Faso 4-0. What would you say about the region's representatives, that is Ethiopia?
Okay, first of all, you talked about Kenya. If you look at Kenya, just look at him like Cape Verde. It's just a small town, you see. Cape Verde is just like, let me say, Nairobi. So, you see, their population is not big, but they are capable of reaching to this point. So, it means that Kenya, we're lacking something, not players. We have players, but maybe the management, or we are not taking these things, football matters, serious. Okay, about Ethiopia. Ethiopia in the first match, they really impressed. They impressed because they played against Zambia, the defending champions. What did people expected? They expected to see Zambia beating Ethiopia with a big margin.
I think Ethiopia is a dark horse in the African Cup of Nations because you find that it's a team that is representing the Eastern Africa, and it has taken the place for Kenya because you find that it is in a group where we have two rivals for Kenya. That's Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has never beaten Kenya in 15 years. Kenya has never beaten Nigeria since 1982. So you find that these two teams are the rivalry of Kenya. They have that rivalry with Kenya. So Ethiopia is turning in for Kenya. But the problem now, if we come now to talk about the Eastern African style of play or football, you find that we don't change with time. Football is changing, it's evolving. You find that the way the teams from Central, South, and West Africa play is totally different from the teams with the way teams in the Sekafa region play.
Mania, because of time, just tell us, in groups, like in Group A, where we have Angola, we have Morocco, we have South Africa, who do you think will go to the next level?
In that group, I think Morocco will go far.
What do you think about the first group?
The first group, definitely South Africa will have to lead the group, having the fact that they have, I don't want to say good players,
Yes.
but they have a good game. Don't look at the first game, just take a look at the second game. South Africa versus the Angola. You see, the Angolans knew that they have good striker. Those Shabalala, they knew they had those good players. But to see who came to score, the defenders. Siabonga, he was one of the scorers in the 2-0. So to me, South Africa will go, and maybe Morocco. Yeah.
And what about Group B? We have Ghana, Congo, Mali, and Niger.
In that group, I'm giving Ghana, and I don't know, between Mali and Congo and Niger, I don't know. But to me, Ghana will go through, because definitely Ghana will have to thrash someone. Yeah.
And now, when it comes to Group C, we have Zambia, Ethiopia, Niger, Burkina Faso, which is, as you guys said, they are doing all right. For Ethiopia, it's a bit 50, not even 50-50. It's like they won't make it.
If I look there,
and we also have the defending champion, Zambia.
As I told you, Nigeria must beat Ethiopia. So
Well,
it's a must win. So far, it's a must win for that game. So Nigeria will have to go through, and maybe my Burkina Faso will continue moving. And we forget about the Zambia, the defending champions.
Really? Maria, can we say
I
the
think
defending champion?
Zambia is done, because you find that Christopher Katongo is not clicking. And this proves that to defend a title of such magnitude is not easy. Zambia is not the Zambia that played in the final in the last tournament. We can't see those clear passes, the orthodox, the long volleys. You don't see those runs. So Zambia, it's done, I think. But Nigeria, what will make Nigeria beat Ethiopia, I think, is the physical presence. You find that even Burkina Faso beat Ethiopia because of the physical aspect.
Yeah.
Find that they out-muscled the midfield. They could run. So they have those strong shots.
They are playing a hard game, that is.
Hard game.
Yeah.
So Ethiopia maybe will not have chances. But when it comes technically, I think Ethiopia have a good midfield. So that's if I have to give Nigeria, we give them 60%, 40% to Ethiopia. But I don't see Nigeria scoring more than
But
2
again,
goals.
if I may add here, Ivory Coast, remember Ivory Coast, most of their players could not play in the next Africa Cup of Nations. Yaya Toure, Kolo Toure, Didier Drogba, they are over 30 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're expecting, maybe this their last game they're playing for their country.
Sure.
So for this tournament, expect to see an Ivory Coast that will win. And I don't think Ivory Coast will lose in match.
That is in group. That is in the next
That is
group.
the next group, Group D. I think Ivory Coast and Togo, they are gone. Let's just sweep them at the quarterfinals. Yeah.
So kwaheri to the two
Yeah,
northerners.
I think I will have to differ with that because
Why?
Algeria, I think Algeria is a sleeping cat now. It's a sleeping leopard, let me say that. Algeria, they are good at everywhere. Every department is quite well. Ball distribution is quite well. You see Togo are relying on Emmanuel Adebayo. I can't see other players that are trying to measure up to Emmanuel Adebayo to create a difference in that team.
But
Look
remember Togo scored. Remember Togo scored against Ivory Coast, and Emmanuel Adebayo never scored, isn't it?
You know, Adebayo was trying to attract other maybe the opponent players to mark him, so that the other players, you see, other players would try to make movements. You find that most of Ivory Coast players were trying to man mark Nani Adebayo, and so that other Togo players will now make moves and try to score. You see,
and
so
now,
Adebayo,
that's why I'm
the
telling
presence
you.
of Adebayo there makes a good game plan.
Get it clear for me that Adebayo, despite of him being there, we've seen Adebayo playing many matches. He scores. He's the captain of the team, and as the captain, the other players will just look forward to this man, and we shall pray. He's just like an example to the others. So believe me not, Adebayo will have to strike more and more and more again. I'm sure of that. Definitely, I'm sure.
With this discipline, I doubt.
All right, you guys, because of time, you're going to wind up there, and let's just see what will happen, because I know the quarterfinals is approaching, and there are some teams like Ethiopia and also the defending champions have been shown the door by our two specialists today. Let's just see what will happen come the quarterfinals. Well, thank you so much for staying tuned. This has been our interactive segment, so heated, all about the African Cup of Nations. Hopefully, next week we will still be talking about the same issue, about the quarterfinals and what would have transpired. But for now, it's bye-bye. My name is Florence Ndongo. See you next Sunday, same time, same place.